Be seated. Excellencies, 9 years ago, 11 men and 7 women assembled to make their solemn undertakings as the first judges of the International Criminal Court. Today, as 6 of our current 18 judges approach the end of their appointed terms of office tomorrow, 5 new judges have come to make their own solemn undertakings in order to replace them. Unfortunately, our 6th new judge is unable to be with us today. Judge Miriam Defensor Santiago will make her solemn undertaking at a later date. We look forward to welcoming her then, and meanwhile, send her our best wishes. The court's 18 judges reflect the extraordinary diversity of states parties to the Rome Statute. They come from all the major regions of the world, embodying a rich variety of cultures, languages, and legal traditions. Each time we have met for this ceremony, the court has taken further steps forward. Today, we have more situations than ever under investigation or prosecution. Our 2 first trials are nearing their conclusions. The first final decision under Article 74 of the Rome Statute is due next week. If it results in a conviction, our first reparation proceedings will follow. And later this year, we can expect our first final appeals. Important further cases lie ahead. The court is now a fully functioning institution and an established part of the global system of international justice. This does not mean that we can stand still. As we approach the 10th anniversary of the entry into force of the Rome Statute, we need to draw on the lessons learned from our experience so far and consider how we can improve the way we work. We need to ensure that the resources made available to us by our states parties are used as efficiently and effectively as possible. We now have 120 states parties, twice the number required to bring the Rome Statute into force. That is an important sign of our success so far. Nevertheless, over 70 countries still remain outside the Rome Statute system. So there remains much to do before we can say that we are approaching the universality, which is one of the goals of the Rome Statute system. I'm delighted that Ambassador Intelman is making this issue one of her personal priorities as President of the Assembly of States Parties. As a court, we are also very conscious that in order to carry out our daily judicial responsibilities, we depend entirely on the practical support and cooperation of our states parties. I would like to take this opportunity to reiterate our deep gratitude for all the help that we receive and to urge our states parties to continue to give these efforts the priority they deserve. Excellencies, we are assembled today in the ICC's main courtroom because the Rome Statute requires our judges, like our prosecutor and registrar and their deputies, to make their solemn undertakings in open court. It is fitting that they should do so here. We must always remember that justice is fundamentally about people, and that it is only in the courtroom that they come face to face. Judges and accused, defense and prosecution, witnesses and victims. No amount of preparation, no volume of background documents can substitute for that personal engagement. So, in this special place, I invite you to join me in welcoming the 5 judges who, in a few moments, will be formally sworn in as judges of the ICC. Judge Howard Morrison, Judge Anthony Carmona, Judge Olga Herrera Garbucia, Judge Robert Fremer, and Judge Chile Eboe Osuji. As we do so, I would also like to pay tribute to the 6 judges whose terms of office will come to an end tomorrow. Judge Elizabeth Odio Benito, Judge Fatoumata Diarra, Judge Adrian Fulford, Judge Sylvia Steiner, Judge Daniel Unsereko, and Judge Bruno Cotte. All of them have made distinguished and lasting contributions both to the daily work of the court and to its development over recent years. We are extremely grateful to them. I should also like to pay tribute to my colleagues in the outgoing presidency of the court, Vice Presidents Fatoumata Diarra and Hans-Peter Kaul. In addition to their regular work as judges, they have contributed actively and energetically to the varied and challenging tasks of the presidency. It's been a great privilege and pleasure to work so closely with them. The responsibilities of a judge are onerous and require an exceptionally strong personal commitment. This is embodied in the solemn undertaking which we all make. As existing and new judges, we will all work together to reinforce the rule of law and continue to develop a system of international criminal justice of which the ICC and its states parties can be proud. In doing so, we will always remember the countless people around the world, especially the victims and vulnerable. who look to this court with hope and expectation for better, more just future. Excellencies, pursuant to Article 45 of the Rome Statute of the Court, before taking up their duties, judges must make in open court a solemn undertaking to exercise their functions impartially and conscientiously. The President of the Assembly of States Parties will witness the making of the solemn undertakings. The undertakings of judges are of concern to the entire court. As such, the prosecutor and the deputy prosecutor and the registrar and the deputy registrar are in attendance. Before the solemn undertakings, I invite the President of the Assembly of States Parties to report on the election of the judges.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we are assembled here for the solemn undertaking of oath of office of 5 new judges elected in December by the Assembly of States Parties, whom I have the honor to represent today. In the second decade of the 21st century, the most atrocious crimes are still being committed around the world. Innocent people are being subjected to horrendous suffering, torture, mutilation, and sexual crimes. In many instances, the yearning for justice remains unanswered. It is thus indispensable to continue the fight against impunity. We are about to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the entry into force of the Rome Statute. During the first decade, we have established the court. We have put in place its normative and operational framework. We have overcome numerous concerns. We have addressed misperceptions about the novel institution. We have worked diligently and very effectively towards universality of ratification of the statute. I intend to focus part of my time in encouraging additional states to join the Rome Statute family, thus limiting as much as possible the space where crimes may not be properly investigated. In a few days, the court will deliver its first judgment. This is a new milestone, an event the international community has been waiting for. The court's institutional reputation and its place in the international system are contingent upon the ability to deliver justice in a fair trial in accordance with the Rome Statute. Imparting justice in cases brought before the court is a complex and very sensitive undertaking. The responsibility and the challenges are enormous. The Assembly of States Parties has elected judges in regular 3-year cycles for the past 9 years. The Assembly has also assumed its responsibility of providing the court with support in many different areas, including continuing strong diplomatic and political support. States parties are making extra efforts to endow the court with the requisite financial resources. It was a special honor for me to have chaired the 10th session of the Assembly of States Parties, where 6 judges were elected. At its second meeting, held from 12th to 16th of December last year, the Assembly proceeded to elect 6 judges of the International Criminal Court in accordance with the Rome Statute and also the resolution ICC ASB/3 Resolution 6. and the following candidates were elected to the International Criminal Court: Anthony Thomas Aquinas Carmona, Miriam Defensor Santiago, Chili Eboe Osuji, Robert Fremer, Olga Venecia Herrera Carbucha, Howard Morrison. On behalf of the Assembly, I thus welcome the incorporation of the new judges to the bench of the court, who I know will earnestly assume these challenges. I also take this opportunity to convey the appreciation of the Assembly for the valuable contribution of those judges whose mandates are expiring. The Court should rest assured that it will have the support of all states parties as we remain united and relentless in our common struggle to fight against impunity. May I conclude by thanking the Kingdom of the Netherlands, the host state, for the support it offers to the International Criminal Court. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Excellency. We will now proceed with the solemn undertakings. I invite the President of the Assembly of States Parties to oversee the solemn undertakings. First, Judge Howard Morrison, please.
Mr. Howard Morrison, the Assembly of States Parties has elected you as Judge of the International Criminal Court. I ask you to raise your right hand and, in accordance with Rule 5(1)(a) of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, pledge your solemn undertaking.
I, Howard Morrison, solemnly undertake that I will perform my duties and exercise my powers as a judge of the International Criminal Court honorably, faithfully, impartially, and conscientiously, and that I will respect the confidentiality of the investigations and prosecutions and the secrecy of deliberations.
Thank you. You may proceed to sign your declaration in front of the registrar. Congratulations.
Then Judge Anthony Carmona, please.
Mr. Anthony Thomas Aquinas Carmona, you have been elected by the Assembly Judge of the International Criminal Court. I ask you to raise your right hand and, in accordance with Rule 5(1)(a) of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, pledge your solemn undertaking.
I, Anthony Thomas Aquinas Carmona, solemnly undertake that I will perform my duties and exercise my powers as a judge of the International Criminal Court honorably, faithfully, impartially, and conscientiously, and that I will respect the confidentiality of the investigations and prosecutions and the secrecy of deliberations.
Thank you. You may proceed to sign your declaration before the registrar.
Now, Judge Olga Herrera Carbucha, please.
Madame Olga Venecia Herrera Carbucha, L'Assemblée des États parties vous a élu pour être juge à la Cour pénale internationale. Je vous prie de lever la main droite et en accord avec la règle 5.1a du règlement de procédure et de preuve, déclarer votre engagement solennel.
Je, Olga Venecia Herrera Carbuccia, déclare solennellement que je remplirai mes devoirs et exercerai mes attributions de juge de la Cour pénale internationale en tout honneur et dévouement, en toute impartialité et en toute conscience, et que je respecterai le caractère confidentiel des enquêtes et des poursuites et le secret des délibérations.
Merci bien. Vous pouvez signer votre déclaration en présence de greffier. Félicitations.
Now, Judge Robert Fremer, please.
Mr. Robert Fremer, the Assembly of States Parties has elected you judge of the International Criminal Court. I ask you to raise your right hand and in accordance with Rule 5.1a of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence to pledge your solemn undertaking.
I, Robert Fremer, solemnly undertake I will perform my duties and exercise my powers as a judge of the International Criminal Court honorably, faithfully, impartially, and conscientiously, and that I will respect the confidentiality of the investigations and prosecutions and the secrecy of deliberations.
Thank you. You may sign your declaration before the registrar.
Now, Judge Chile Eboe Osuji, please.
Mr. Chile Osuji, the Assembly of States Parties has elected you judge of the International Criminal Court. I ask you to raise your right hand and in accordance with Rule 5.1a of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, pledge your solemn undertaking.
I, Chile Ebo Suji, solemnly undertake that I will perform my duties and exercise my powers as a judge of the International Criminal Court honorably, faithfully, impartially, and conscientiously, and that I will respect the confidentiality of investigations and prosecutions and the secrecy of deliberations.
Thank you, and please proceed to sign your declaration.
Thank you very much.
The solemn undertakings of all 5 judges of the International Criminal Court have hereby been concluded in accordance with Article 45 of the Rome Statute. The ceremony is hereby adjourned.
All rise.